So thank you everybody for joining in today. I want to go over just a few things in regards to Teams. And last week we had talked about CeeLo Pay. And so if any of you have any login that you want to get for CeeLo Pay, let me know. Or if you had any questions about how to process the I just got a message saying that can't see anybody. I'm probably the only person who is sharing a screen, so I don't know that that might, yeah, I think I'm the only one that has my camera on right now, David. So just want to go back over that CeeLo Pay last week is our online merchant program. So if you missed the meeting last week, the recording is in Teams. I'm going to take a moment and just show you what the Teams Resource Center looks like. I know many of you have requested to get the invitation again, so that you can get into our Teams content. So if you do not have access to the Teams, or if you missed that invitation somehow, let me know, because this is where we are transitioning our resource center information off of Airportal and into Teams, so that for client, or not client, vendor contact information, commission information, that will all be then found in the Teams Resource Center. So I am going to, hang on a second, admitting a few more people, and then I will share my screen and show you guys where it exists in Teams. So when you come in to Teams, you'll see a Teams category for our AndavoConnect. Under that, there will be the 4 different buckets. The advisor chat group, I'll go over this first. This is really where you would have that peer-to-peer conversations. So feel free to start doing some chats here. It's going to be seen by any one of our independent contractors that's accepted that invitation. The long-term goal of this is that that will replace the Facebook chat group, and we will have everything in the Teams as your kind of one-stop source for all information. We also have the AndavoConnect Monday recordings. This is where we will house those files. So up at the top here, you see posts and files and wiki. Under files is where each of those recordings lives now. So if you are missing a Monday meeting anytime, you can come here and pull up that recording and watch it. We have not gotten to the point that we would need to purge anything. So right now we will just continue to store these here. We've got them as of the beginning of March being stored. So that's really all that will be housed in the AndavoConnect Monday recordings, and it'll be under files. Vendor webinar recordings, we'll get started doing this, but we have not saved anything here just yet. But this is where we will store those recordings as we get them, that library starting to get built up. The main resource guide, resource center information is going to be on the general tab. Now you've got a few different options of things that you can do within this general tab. You will have chat feature here, but we really want to keep the chat into the advisor group chat and leave the general more as our resource center. You'll see up the top it has posts and then 2 more and the plus sign. If you click on 2 more, then you get the drop down for files and resource guide. Files is where we have the actual files stored for different topics. I've been building out the accounting forms folder. So if you're looking for a check request or a charge request, refund forms, ACH wire forms, all of those are found here. You can access those forms and then send them into accounting as you need. We have the air desk procedures. So this is in working with David Langley. If you're wanting to take advantage of that international air desk, that's got some air procedures. Client base, this is going to have your how-tos for working through client base, if that is creating a profile all the way through generating an invoice or charging the service fee, invoicing the service fee. And then we have different information on the hotel programs. Now, this is really just their presentation that they have sent us on their program. So we've got some more information that we're building out in the resource guide with the contact information and rate codes, a little more summarized for you. But if you're wanting to look at the entire presentation, then you'd be able to go to the hotel program details. And Allie is building out marketing. So if there are any resources that you are looking at for resources, we've got, or for marketing, we've got the logos, templates for PowerPoint, social media post, itineraries. These are the sample itineraries that you guys have been working on with Allie. And so she will post these here. You've got access to these all the time. So if you have any questions on where to find content, let me know. I can work with showing you around this a bit more as well on an individual basis. So we do, under the resource guide, you'll have the little hamburger menu here. Click on that and you'll see the index. We've got the vendor reps and commission information that we're building out more and more. The ones that are highlighted are going to be our preferred vendors. With the hotel bookings and the hotel reps and booking information, I'm still working on building this out. We're going to get a lot more information in here for you as well when we have those programs and what the amenities are that are included in those programs, the best ways to book, whether that's through the preferred website or through the GDS or any other booking instructions that you would have. Tour operators, then cruise lines and car and rail. This really just to get you that information on who our main rep is. Marketing is a section that Allie has been working on building out. She's got the links to our various social media outlets. So you've got those links there. And then we do have the Welcome to Andavo, which includes our office locations and our IATA number information. So if you are needing anything with what is the office address or what is our IATA number, what are the phone numbers, that is all listed here for you guys, as well as our support team and our contact information. So if you forgot Kelly's email or Julie's email, you've got that information listed in here for you also. So let me know if you have any questions on that. I am looking at suggestions from you guys as to what other information that you're looking for on a regular basis and needing a place to have it, or if it just makes sense for us to add some more information there, let me know. We don't always know what it is you're looking for. So let us know what resources that we can continue to build in there. We want that to be useful for you. It is where we will keep that information. So we will continue to build that out and look forward to any suggestions that you all have. Moving on, I know we've got some vendor webinars coming up this week, and I've got my calendar displayed. We have got Mona Lani on Wednesday. And Meredith, that might be the only one this week. I think there might be one or two more. Are there more this week?
Yeah, on Thursday at noon, also with Colette Travel. I'm just sending that out. And then next week we have Hilton Impresario with a webinar for next Tuesday at noon.
Okay, and then next Wednesday we have Shangri-La?
Yes, and Shangri-La.
Okay.
So 2 this week, 2 next week.
2 this week, 2 next week. Great. And Danielle, thank you. I see your comment for the car rental info. We will add the, so we can add that in there. I don't want to pull too much information from the Virtuoso website to bring in there, but when we're looking at car numbers, we can add the information on where to access those CD numbers. But again, we don't want to duplicate where information is, but we will get you some basic booking information and guidance as to where to find that information, as well as the BCD program and how you can benefit from the BCD programs. So we will pull some information that has been on the Resource Center and bring that into our teams. But there will be some information that will still live in virtuoso.com that are specific to their programs. I believe that Virtuoso has Avis and Hertz, but through BCD, there may be some additional car programs. So we will pull that information in or show you how to access that information. And just as a reminder, and some of you just are newer to us and may not understand how it works. We've got Virtuoso luxury program amenity more on the leisure side, and our corporate division is an affiliate of BCD Travel, which is a global travel company. And through BCD, we can get hotel discounts, car discounts, and some different programs with the hotels and cars. And so sometimes the BCD program's a little bit better depending on what you're looking at. Sometimes you want to go with Virtuoso because it's more of the high-end luxury leisure. So we'll make sure you have the information on both of those programs, but do know that you do have access to the BCD hotel affiliates program, which for those of you that are on the GDS, it's built into the GDS. You'd see those rates returned. For those of you that are going to be booking on RevelX, we will have those rates coming through on RevelX as well. And then we'll get that booking instruction information built out into Teams. Right now, it lives still in the Resource Center on Air Portal, and there'll be a hotel tab and a car tab. So those are not disappeared yet. That information is still there, but we will be building it over in the Teams section for us. Any other questions or comments? I see a hand raised, but I can't necessarily tell whose hand that is. Colette, looks like it's your hand up.
It's Colette.
It's Colette.
Not Colette Tours, just Colette. Hey, yeah, now that we're getting busy, I'm having some growing pains. I'm in WorldSpend a lot and I've done a lot of tickets, so the scripts for us have not been updated, but I've gotten Bart to help me on some of the stuff to get the scripts updated. So if you haven't done that, let's make sure we get scripts. I think they said, oh, we'll include Meredith and make sure that she knows about all the script updates and everything. And I go, well, thanks. Anyway, so that's kind of been taken care of. A couple of other things that that's been happening because everybody's going to Hawaii. The tours that you book for people. I have gotten so many of them that have emailed me back and said, oh, we're not operating on these days, only these days. Even though when you go in there and look, you book it, oh, we're not going to do those days. So I'm thinking, and then you'll book it and they'll email you back a couple days that, oh, we're sold out, we can't go. So they have limited capacity, limited number of days. So it's just that's been really frustrating. And also the negative test thing. My first person that didn't get their test in time in order to get on the plane. But I think the problem is that they were leaving today, and over the weekend, the test people aren't up to speed. Do you know what I mean? So my advice is to don't book anybody on a Monday or Tuesday to go to Hawaii because they're not going to get.
So the
Yeah.
labs were not
The labs
keeping
were-
up with
yeah.
the weekend.
Right.
Well, I mean, that shouldn't be the case. It really depends on the lab and
Yeah.
where they go. Because the other problem is I can't tell you the number of people that get turned back because they're getting tests not from the trusted traveler. I mean, I'm reading on these sites all the time. I mean, people from Europe and everywhere are getting turned around. Hawaii is just
Because they have a
miserable.
specific list of
Yeah,
labs
and
that it
it's
can go
only
through.
off of their site. But you know, it's hard to say. I mean, if they're going to like CVS and Walgreens
Yes.
and those places, it's a crapshoot because they say 3 days. They have been coming back in 24 hours because people are not getting as many COVID tests now. But unless you go, like here, we have urgent care where you sit in your car and you get it in 15 minutes. It's nerve-wracking. It doesn't matter what day it is. You can get it in 12 hours, you can get it in 24, you can get it in 4 days. It's a nightmare. So I don't know what the answer is.
Well, what the gal at Funjet told me was, she says we're running into this all the time. People are just, especially over the weekend, they're just not getting the test done fast enough for people to get it to download onto their safe, the QR code that you have to download everything onto. So she says we're dealing with that all the time, and a lot of the time it's because of over the weekend kind of thing. So
Well, but the QR code and downloading has nothing to do. You can't
No.
even get your QR code because you
Right.
can't fill out the health form until 24 hours later. And I went in there yesterday because we've been vaccinated in Hawaii and tried to give them our vaccine card information because now inter-island, you no longer need it. And I put it in for when I go back in July, but it wouldn't take it because it's not working yet for mainland travel. So the whole thing is crazy. You know, and Hawaii, just for your information, if someone's going to Kona and then to Oahu does not, Honolulu does not require a negative 72-hour test between islands. All of the other islands do.
Yeah.
So it's a lot for us to have to try to remember.
You know, this is Danielle. I have some clients
Hey,
getting ready to go in a couple weeks. And I said, oh, use Carbon Health because that's listed on as one of the ones that Hawaii recommends, a trusted partner. And they guarantee within 24 hours. Thing is, you have to pay up front. It's $170. They don't bill your insurance. Now, my traveler's like, no, I want to go to the University of Washington because I'm based here in Seattle. And you can set your appointment and do the drive-through, and they will bill your insurance. However, it can take 48 hours or during busy times up to 72 hours. So like they're saying, it's kind of a hit or miss if you want to go to some of these places, maybe where they're billing your insurance because they're getting a lot more people up front. But I do know that one, Carbon Health guarantees within 24 hours by 2 p.m. the next day, and that's their guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, so does, you know, if you go to airports and things. I mean, you know, I think it's to the point where you have to tell the client, look, if you want to roll the dice, you know, and not pay for it and take a chance, but it's going to cost you, if you can't get on your flight and you lose a hotel reservation, a lot more than $125. So if you don't want to have a nervous breakdown, just pay the friggin' money and get it guaranteed.
That's
Because-
what I told them. Exactly. But
And
nope,
you've done
today they're on
everything
the
you
site
can,
trying
right?
to do the
Yeah.
Hey guys, so there's been we just did this to the Bahamas. Here in Florida, one of the things that's really important is we went and got COVID tested because we were in Bimini the last week of April. They changed it May 1st for vaccinations, but you have to make sure it's either some states allow a rapid test, some do not. So the PCR test is the one where they swab your mouth and it takes 24 to 48 hours. The rapid test, a lot of places won't accept because it's really inaccurate. So you got to make sure too that not only is it on an approved testing list, but also that it is the right test. And I had, one of my clients this week, which we'll maybe discuss later, basically wanted to go to the Bahamas in 24 hours. They had to go get a urgent COVID test. It came back in 8 hours, and luckily the Bahamas was approving travel visas in 15 minutes, not in 24 hours like their website said, but something to be aware of.
Okay, thanks.
I was on a call last week with Hawaii vendors, and they suggested, because of the problems going from island to island in Hawaii, and that may change, but they suggested do your out island. So if you have someone going to Maui and to Honolulu, send them to Maui first, because you don't need the COVID test going from Maui to Honolulu, just in the opposite direction. So Honolulu should be the last point as opposed to the first point. So they said that would be maybe helpful to your clients so they wouldn't have to worry about getting COVID tests before going on to the next island. Now, if they're going to multiple islands, that doesn't really help, but just something to keep in mind, and because I really hadn't thought about it that way.
Here's a link. I'm going to put it in there if I can. And this would take you to all of the trusted partners.
For Hawaii.
Yep, but I'll see if I can't put it in here. Hang on. Long link, but there you go. If you just go to hawaiicovid19.com and then you click on the bar under travel, and it will say travel partners, and that's our travel partners, and that's where it lists everyone throughout the world, the US and other places, and you can click on each one to see what you have to copy and paste, I guess, but yeah, it will show you the different places where you can get tested, and then you go look up each one of those, and it tells you usually the turnaround time.
Thanks, Danielle.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have anything to discuss? I know I'm still hearing car rentals continue to be an issue with in domestic on the US 48 with making sure that their fleet that they have available cars. So that I feel like people are still running into that issue. Danielle, you and I had a conversation last week about cancellation policies with hotels. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you're experiencing with the cancellation policies changing?
Yeah, sure. I was just going to add one thing about the car rentals.
Mhm.
I've been booking a lot. Well, for my corporate travelers, I've been booking National, because National doesn't reserve a certain type of car. They just reserve a car, right? If we use the corporate discount number. So it doesn't matter if there's not a mid-size car, it's whatever's sitting on the row for them. So it gives them a bit more option, as opposed to showing up and finding out a mid-size car is not available. Yeah. So
Okay.
it lets them, yeah. And with regards to hotel, again, this has just been mostly for my road warriors that are traveling, and they're mainly about a 3-star hotel, your Hampton Inns, your Courtyards, and all of this. And during the height of the pandemic, the hotels reverted that from a 48-hour cancel policy to a 24. Some of them were same day cancel policy. In the last week or two, I've noticed that this is now going back to, even for Courtyards, Hamptons, and whether they're reverting back now. to 48 hours. Whereas anything that for Marriott that has the word resort on it, that pre-pandemic, it was always 72 hours. So we're starting to see where the Hiltons, Marriotts, all of them are adding that more stringent cancellation policy back in. Just something to be aware of. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. They did a news article this morning on the Denver News about air travel resuming and the onset of additional fees that travelers can start to be expecting. Not just with airline fees, but that passengers should be expecting that change fees will be reinstated, that there could be additional airport fees. And with hotels, car rentals, there could be more clean protocol fees that are going to be put in place. How we will excuse me, how we're going to see those come through in the reservation process. I don't know that they'll be spelled out, but they are getting that out on the news. The travelers should be expecting to see more fees as a result of the protocols that have had to be put in place because of COVID.
That really kind of irritates me because I don't know if anybody else is experiencing this, but people are going into hotels now, paying $2,000 a night. They have no maid service. Nobody picks up, no room service. I've looked at hotels, that have been recommended to me and that I haven't stayed in personally, like that Colorado hotel that everybody raved about. I can't remember what it was, and I recommended it to a client. And I started reading reviews since April, and they were horrendous. Dog hair everywhere. I mean, people are paying $2,000 a night, and they're not getting any service. Just like the airlines. I mean, you get nothing now. It's just an excuse for them. The food was crappy anyway, but not to provide any service. And I don't know if this is going to stay forever, and if they're using it as an excuse, but it's really disheartening.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody else has experienced it, when their clients come back and tell them. I mean, when you pay $2,500 a night at a Four Seasons, and it's just awful. But
are you guys seeing additional fees being tacked on to hotel bookings at this point yet?
I'm not seeing the fees. I'm just not seeing any service.
Yeah.
So, they're going to start charging fees, and they're providing no service. And, I don't know whose fault it is. Or, I think a lot of it is they can't get employees because nobody wants to go back to work because they're on unemployment. That's a huge problem in Hawaii.
Yeah.
They can't service restaurants. They can't service the hotels. It's horrendous. And you see the prices this summer at any Hawaii hotel, and it's just unbelievable. So,
yes, we've got a couple of comments being added into the comment box that hotel managers are saying they're having a hard time because they are understaffed, that they are trying to hire people, but they can't get people that want to work. And then David said he was offered a $5,000 referral for referring valets and bellmen. Yeah, and I think the cruise lines are going to run into this as well. Not only are they having a problem getting staff that can be vaccinated, they're having a problem finding the staff. So hiring back and getting staffed back up, I think, is going to become a pain point in a lot of places, and not something we have any control over, but something to definitely be keeping in mind. And yeah, I don't know. This was just a news story on the morning news here saying that they were going to start, that travelers should start expecting to see fees being reinstated. But they didn't have any specific kind of information to back that up, just a kind of public service announcement to expect these fees to be going up. And they listed the kinds of fees to be expecting.
Well, I did find out something interesting because of all of these tickets that have been extended, for like 3 years.
Yeah.
I get so much conflicting information, and these are United tickets. You know, if it was issued, I mean, I have tickets going back to 19 or before COVID that they've extended. And supposedly if they were issued before, you know, then you can charge a change fee and they get a residual, or they're trying to get these tickets out of the system. So if you pay a change fee, United will refund it, which is something new on a non-refundable ticket. But now they don't charge it a change fee. They call it an administrative fee
Administrative fee.
for $200 because, you know, United said, never, never, never will you ever pay change fees again.
Right.
So
They'll just call it something different.
Yeah, so now they're calling it an administrative fee, but FYI, if people don't want these tickets hanging around, you know, United told me they're trying to get them out of the system, and they will process refunds on non-refundable tickets for a $200 quote unquote administrative
fee.
Yeah, so FYI on that one.
Yeah. And then of course that brings on the commission recall that would come along with it.
It's been my experience in the past that if United refunds the ticket for you, you don't lose the recall.
Okay.
I mean, they don't, if they do it through their system, which they don't always do, but like if you say, oh my God, you know, you've taken over, blah, blah, blah. I've never gotten a recall on anything. They
Processed
refunded.
by.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Interesting.
Speaking of United, this is Danielle again.
Mhm.
I had talked with Kelly a little bit ago. This probably came out in an email and I missed it, but thankfully Kelly reminded me. During the pandemic, United changed policies and no longer allows travel agents to issue MCOs. So if you have a ticket for $1,000 and they only want to use 500 of it, they would forfeit the remainder. So they no longer are allowing travel agents. I believe that's what.
No, it's not travel agents. It's just in general. Nobody has a residual balance anymore. Nobody. So that went away when they got rid of the change fees and they allowed tickets. They said, okay, we're not going to charge you a change fee. You can do whatever you want with this ticket. However, you're not going to get a residual balance back. So
Wait,
if you, that's
I
for
need
anybody.
to know, is that true for American and Delta? Because
No.
I didn't hear that for American and Delta.
Delta still gives you a residual. I found that out. American, I'm not sure about. Delta will give you a residual, but I got caught on that because Kelly told that to me too after I issued for a family of five MCOs for $378. What you have to do is you have to find a fare and make the value of the ticket exactly the same because they're going to lose the balance. And
Well,
that's just
for sure on
United's
United.
policy.
Now, Diane,
right.
Diane just typed in here, American is holding residual balance. I don't know what that means. Does that mean we have to do the exchange with American directly for them to hold the balance? Huh.
Well, American won't do an exchange for you.
No.
So
No.
you have to call them and ask them if you can, if they can have the travel voucher for the residual. I think you can. If they allow it on American, they'll allow you to do it.
Maybe a little follow up on this on a side note, just so we can get this all straight for us, because
Yeah, I just made a note to get some follow up.
So we're talking about United, Delta, American. As you know, Alaska's never let us issue MCOs in our GDS. So they always, but if you book it directly with them or online, they will issue a voucher and PIN, which is cool because once they turn the residual into a voucher and PIN, it can be used for anyone, not just the original person, but anyone. So that works out nice.
JetBlue allows us to issue residuals, but United does not give anybody a residual balance.
That's new because
but only on a non-refundable ticket. On a fully refundable ticket, you can have a residual balance. It's only on the non-refundable tickets, and that's since March 3rd. Or, yeah, I think beginning of March.
Huh. Okay, well, I guess we'll do some more digging on this and get.
Yeah,
it
Well,
we'll
go
get-
back into the historical fare quotes on your fare because it's been put into Travelport. It's all there.
So Cindy said she was able to do, United allowed her to do an exchange with a residual.
And I used it for another person, and they told me to do it. I didn't even know you could do that for another person, and they said yes.
Once
And it
it's,
was a non-refundable ticket issued prior to COVID,
yeah, but was it prior to March?
March of 2020.
This past March, when they
No,
would change.
it was last year. No, the original issue was last year.
Okay, and did you charge a change fee?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Prior to March, when they got rid of the change fees, you can still process a refund with a residual balance, but you have to charge they call it an administrative fee.
Okay.
And once you get an MCO on United, anybody can use that.
right.
Yeah, but that's always been their rule. That never changed. The only thing that changed is March 1st, you can no longer get a residual balance on a non-refundable ticket.
So if I use that residual, and there was still more residual.
No,
I
this
used
is
it
the
again.
catch-22. If you have a residual balance and it's for the person it's issued in, you can carry over a residual balance. I'm an expert on United. If
Okay.
you use that for somebody else, you lose the remainder of the residual balance.
Okay. What if you use it for the same person though?
Then you can carry it over.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, only for the same person. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
but now I was trying to do, and we can take this offline, but I was trying to do an exchange for somebody. The original ticket's 800, the new ticket was 500, and I was told, no, you can't get an MCO for $300.
Okay,
Yes.
when was the ticket issued?
Couple weeks ago.
Then okay, what are you not understanding?
Well, I mean,
After
we've been
past
throwing around a lot
March-
of
No.
hypotheticals
This-
here, so I'm getting mixed up on what is
Okay,
allowed. what isn't.
anything issued after March, there's no longer residual balance. If that ticket had been issued a year ago in 2020, then you could have a residual balance if you charge the $200 change fee. It's, pretty much a wash. But once they got rid of the no change fees, then you lost your ability to have a residual balance. And I believe that date was the 1st of March of this year.
But see, I heard United's bringing back their change fee.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But United
All right.
said never.
Yeah,
Change
they
fees
all will.
on forever. They all will. But that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. They call it now an
Administrative fee.
Well, I'll just call on each one just to make sure.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
it's
what you
too
have
much.
to do, but unfortunately, you get a different answer from everybody you talk to. But if you go back and do a historical fare quote, with the date the ticket was issued and the fare basis, it's right in there.
Okay.
It's clearly stated. So, but you can still call and check.
Well, shouldn't you be able to find it on Jetstream with United though?
They do tell you, but Jetstream is very confusing. I think the clearest is I call it hysterical, but the historical fare.
In Apollo or in
Yeah.
the GDS?
Yeah, and in Apollo at least for United.
So if we're done with airline for now, can I just tell you a good scenario that just recently happened?
Sure.
Well, I had some people that were on Scenic, and we of course had to cancel, right, because of COVID last year, and they took the FCCs. Well, things changed for my clients, right? He ended up taking a retirement. So I reached out to our new Scenic sales rep, and she's awesome. She had me write a letter to, or have my client write a letter, asked me to have him write a letter, and she just emailed me while we were talking, and the cruise line is doing a one-off and is going to refund the entire sailing for the client. Because FCCs are normally non-refundable, but he had a life-changing event. He was forced to retire. He needs the money to live off of now, and until his pension kicks in. So she took that to them, and they said, "Okay, here you go." So it's just nice to know that we've got this new sales rep that she seems very responsive and helpful.
Yeah,
I think
she
she came
is.
from Paul
Right.
Gauguin.
But did they tell you he has to wait 9 months?
They said it was 180 days,
Yeah.
but that in the last month or so, that time frame's been cut down. So it might be about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah. Okay. And you're not supposed to tell anybody they did that. Wasn't that the first line? I got one of those letters. This is a
No.
one-time deal. You're not allowed to divulge it.
No, she just said, it was,
Okay.
they got approval, but she didn't say to not divulge it. So, well, oopsie. But I think it's nice that we have a sales rep that's, working a little harder for us. I mean, not that they all don't, but it's just nice that it happened. Because I just sent that letter to her on Thursday of last week. And is it Monday today? Yeah, we just got approval 3 days later. So that was pretty good.
Very good. Was that Nancy Iavino at Scenic?
Yeah, it is Nancy. She's
Yes.
very, very willing. Yeah, I mean, she is very responsive. So we'll see how long that lasts. But she
Yeah,
seems
and
really
don't
nice.
tell anybody. I guess it's a secret.
Right. Don't say, well, Danelle said that she got her money back.
We'll just keep it on the down low.
Yeah, and Diane asked if anybody else is still waiting on Crystal refunds. I have not heard any great news about Crystal other than they are working through their refunds like everybody else, but I've not really heard any updates in regards to Crystal's refunds coming through.
What do people think about selling Crystal? I mean, I'm really gun shy about selling them because of my experience with them. Of all of the cruise lines, they seem to have been the worst, but I don't know. I mean, it just makes me really nervous.
I think, unfortunately, we've all had some bad taste from all the cruise lines, and so Crystal was on the list from Virtuoso to stop sell. They were having, they came out publicly and talked about their financial situation. Other cruise lines have not been so forthcoming in the public about their financial state. And so I think Crystal has gotten a bit more backlash because of that as far as Virtuoso is concerned. But I think that, they've all had different situations and issues with refunding or giving credits or not refunding. I hear from many of you that, some cruise lines did a great job and somebody else had an issue with that same cruise line that they didn't do a good job. So I don't know that there's any clean cut good answer on any of these. And Diane said she agrees, Jan, they made her look bad to her clients. I'm dealing with some refunds right now that are concerned with Holland that we're working through the amount that was refunded.
I have a good story from this week.
All right.
So, hold on, let me get going. There we go.
And
so
now we
this
can hear
week,
you.
Yep. This week we had, I had a client reach out to me about staying at the Albany. So I called Ultimate Jet, who does Albany. They have a really manual process, and it involves paying a $5,000 membership fee. and we got the booking done in less than 24 hours, and it turns out it was for the rapper named French Montana, if anyone's familiar with that, so with that person or rapper or whatever he is. So yeah, we did a fun booking this week for French Montana at Albany in the Bahamas.
Very
And
good.
Ultimate Jet did a great job. So
Good.
something fun.
Yeah, I've get a lot of good feedback from Ultimate Jet. It is a great company. They are not a Virtuoso preferred, and we've talked to both Virtuoso and Ultimate Jet about that membership, and we'd love to sell them as a preferred. We still do business with Ultimate Jet, but they are not looking at joining Virtuoso at this point. So. Great job, David. Congratulations on that. Anyone else have any?
Hey, Kirsten. Oh,
Yeah, go
Joy
ahead.
Ireland. I was just going to say on Ultimate Jet, though, they do offer higher commissions, and they do offer the Virtuoso amenities pass through. So I know they're not technically Virtuoso, but I just wanted to let people know if you do use them, it's similar to Classic, except for they will add on the breakfast and the credits.
Great, thanks.
And they also pay on the second day of the travel most of the time, unless it's last minute, and then they'll pay basically as soon as they process however they do their payments. But basically the real benefit with Ultimate Jet is, and I've had them pay me sometimes before, I mean, they pay basically immediately. So you get all the benefits, plus they pay immediately. There's some hotels that they don't have. I actually went and visited them because they're right near my house. They own, I think, Privy Jets and a couple other companies too that are Virtuoso affiliated, just not Ultimate. Ultimate Jet is not, but a lot of their other companies are. They have a really nice office. Diane, we're talking about Ultimate Jet Vacations, and they pay 15% on most everything, but there are like a couple resorts that only pay 12. I ran into that last week with not Weimar, Caldera. Caldera only pays 12% through Ultimate Jet, which is still 2% more than booking Virtuoso. So they also give you like a $150 reward for every 50 grand you do a quarter, and even bigger awards if you do large singular bookings through them. So just a heads up on that.
Yeah, they are a great company. Oh, they sent you a $250 gift card. Great. Hey, any other successes people want to celebrate? I'm seeing more and more invoices coming through, so I can tell you guys are getting busier. Oh, Diane said that they do have a webinar coming up this Wednesday. David did 3 bookings while on this call. You're probably all sitting there multitasking while we're on this call, which is great. All right. Well, thank you guys all for joining in. Appreciate the conversations and all of you giving your feedback and advice to each other. That's what these calls are about. So thank you all for joining in, and we will see you again next Monday. Bye, everybody.